Hi guys.
You just say, hey guys, welcome to and/or welcome back to my channel. I am going to first and foremost apologize for my voice. Yes, I know I sound like there's a toad in my throat. I haven't been feeling that well, but that's not going to stop me from putting out this week's video. So let's get straight into it. This week we're just going to speak about going to school, more specifically master, as in doing a master program. And because I'm an architecture student, we're going to talk about what it has been like doing a master in architecture for year one. The program is 2 years and I've already completed 1 year, so that's what we're going to really get into. So without further ado, by the way, today I have a guest with me to help me get through this. You've seen him before. This is a regular face on this channel, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Darnell. I'm Drew's friend. I'm here to help her with her video on doing a master's in Germany as an international student.
And I appreciate the fact that he is here. So in order to do this, we're just going to do it very low-key, more of a chit-chat type of video. But I do have 5 questions with me just to help us have some structure with the chit-chat so it's not all over the place. And the first question is it necessary to have a master in architecture in order to be an architect? Darnell, thoughts on this question?
No. Alright, first of all, it depends on where you're from. Where we're from in the Caribbean, the process is that you get your bachelor's, sometimes you may work after your bachelor's in an architectural firm, gain a little bit of experience, to your master's. After you do your master's, then you go back to work for a while under the advice of an architect. But I've learned that when I've met some of my colleagues over here, they do their bachelor's. Some of their bachelor's are 5 years, or bachelor's are 4 years. Some of their bachelor's were 6 years. So as soon as they finish their bachelor's, they can be an architect in their country. But for whatever reason, they decided to come and do an extra master's. Maybe they wanted to strengthen their bachelor's. Maybe they wanted to just see the world, see Germany. So not necessarily.
Yeah. So I do agree. It's not necessary, but I think it depends. I do agree that it is necessary, but it does depend on what you want to achieve. So I would say yes, if your goal is to become an architect for sure, then obviously you would need your master, because you need your master in order to get registered, and you need to be registered in order to be considered professionally an architect. However, if it is that you have an interest in the field itself, and let's say you have a degree in architecture, a degree in engineering, a degree in quantity surveying, whatever it may be, as long as it's under the land, I guess, building environment scope, then I would say not necessarily. Because if it is that, let's say for example, you would like to go into an aspect of designing, maybe designing on a movie set like we spoke about, or any type of media architecture, or you just want to be interior designer, a landscape designer, like you don't necessarily need a master. More specifically, you don't necessarily need a master in architecture, because there are other things you can do your master in and still come out to have those types of profession. But if you do decide to do a master in architecture, there definitely are benefits to it. For example, like I said, you definitely can become a professional architect. Any master is going to be a furtherance in your career, in terms of it gives you a wider scope of opportunity, because obviously it's an extra qualification, as well as
I think amongst the architectural realm of individuals, even though your work stands out the most as an architect, what you've done, what you've built, or what your assistants on a project has done, definitely it gives you a little bit more of a stability as far as being super certain on what you're speaking about. Because to be honest, in the working world, everybody looks at experience. So it can be someone who has a bachelor's in architecture and has built and has designed and has a wealth of experience. So with that said, I'm not saying the master's takes away from that person, but it definitely gives someone a bit more of a edge on the topic that they're focusing on. For example, we have to do our master's thesis is about particular topics, so naturally we have to home in and focus on what we are trying to achieve.
As well as, I think having a master does help you as the individual to figure out your interest. So from doing a master, you can figure out what exactly it is you're interested in, because you can be interested in a field as a general scope, but you're not quite sure what your niche is. So honing in on one particular thing, that is going to be really helpful for the future.
That's so true, because I remember when I graduated with my bachelor's and I went to work in the first architectural firm I worked at. The architect, the director, he interviewed me and he asked me, what type of architect do you want to be? And at that time, with just my bachelor's, I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I definitely, and in the interview he told me that there are it's multifaceted. Architects could be in different general. It could be an architect who's just on project sites. It could be an architect who's just inside designing. It could be an architect who doesn't design at all, but so I think that is actually a master's helps you home in on what it is you really want to do.
Yeah. So question 2, is the cost of a master worth it?
Education is debt,
I mean, well, okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, obtaining a master, let's just get this out of the way. Obtaining a master is time consuming. It's definitely expensive, and it can also be super emotionally draining, because you're at that point in your life where you're transitioning, like you're already technically an adult, but you're still transitioning from, I guess, pre-adulting to like adulting. Right. So all things considered, yeah, let's just put that aside because we know that. But my personal take on it is, yes, it is worth it, depending on your profession, because like I explained before, certain professions, like for me, if you're a painter, a sculptor, a musician, or certain fields, I don't necessarily think a master is necessary, because if you've studied it, let's say to an undergraduate level, chances are experience would help you more than doing a master, like getting gigs, getting booked. That would look better on your resume than actually going to school to do a master in painting. Not to say that you cannot, if there is somebody out there that chooses to do that. Right. I'm just saying certain creative fields, because like for us, architecture is a creative field, but it's
also a technical field.
It's also technical, right? And it's like science-based, art-based. So there are a lot of things that you aren't so intuitive, but then there are aspects of it that are intuitive. So because of that, if you want to do it on a professional level with the actual title of being an architect, because to be honest, if you aren't registered, you will never be professionally considered an architect. You will always be considered a draftsman, a draftswoman,
architectural designer,
an architectural junior. So until you actually
technician,
right, until you actually register,
junior architect,
they get it.
So the class at all.
Yeah, right. So you're just, people will just do the
ready to get the official title, man.
Right, to get the official title, you have to do the master. So for us, I definitely think it's worth it. I think of it more as an investment. However, not to say just because it's an investment in your future, you should just blow money and go to the most expensive school. I think there are smart ways to go about getting your master. Of course, try to look at schools that are more subsidized in countries that offer, let's say, free education or subsidized education to international students, as well as the option of just picking schools that are still in the ranking, but like maybe they have like a lower tuition fee. You just have to be smart about it. Look at scholarships, look at grants, because it definitely is worth it if you have the type of profession that requires having a master degree. So that's my take on it.
I think definitely as far as schooling worth paying for, yes. So we both found a school that is a bit more in our financial bracket to make what we want available possible. You get me? Because at the end of the day, to do a master's it's either you're going to be on a scholarship, it's either you're going to be on a loan, or it's either you're going to be paid for by someone else who's taking out of their pocket and investing in you. And no matter which one or the other, each of them has pros and cons. For example, we're in Germany right now, but I'm not sure about you, but for me, I'm not bound to going back home because of a loan. You get me?
Home is Trinidad and Tobago, by the way.
Yeah.
Home for me, as you all know, I'm Jamaican.
Right? But with that said, there's a sacrifice. Because I chose that route, my parents are helping me out a lot for this. My savings from my past living experiences helping me out a lot for this.
Yeah.
So, we definitely feel the weight of it.
I think ranking is important because a lot of times when you're looking for a job, if you're from, let's say, an Ivy League university or an Ivy League school, or even if it's not Ivy League but it's well known, automatically that's like a positive thing. Because I've seen that just even back home, like on a lower scale, like undergrad or even high schools, when you go and look for summer jobs or actual like permanent positions, full-time positions, once they look at your resume and they can say, oh, do you know half of the people from this school, this office actually went to this school? Like, that's already a conversation starter. Whereas if you are from some random school that nobody knows, okay, I went to ITT Technical,
Yeah, that's
like,
true, actually.
what is that?
I got an internship after the first year of my master's because I am studying next to the bar house. Like that, the architect that interviewed me, he's an older architect, so he was impressed by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Familiarity breeds opportunities. That's all I could say. So what we're saying is take everything into consideration, because what you don't want to do is go for a course because it's dirt cheap and then it's not accredited. Nobody knows the name of the institution. Like, might as well not do the masters. I'm just being 100% honest here. Don't do that. So try to find a balance between a school that is known, a school that is reasonable within your expenses, something you can budget for, as well as I think surroundings are important too, because wherever you are is going to dictate what your accommodation prices are, daily needs, and money that you're going to spend on like eating, traveling, that kind of thing. So take everything into consideration and really tailor it to your personal budget and expenses that you have put aside for this venture. At the end of the day, you're investing in yourself, and because of that, I think it is absolutely worth it. So question 3 is, how exactly do I apply for a master degree? A lot of people have this question. Most of us, if we've been through undergrad, because obviously we have to go through undergrad to get to master, we have had experiences with applying to institutions. So for the most part, we know the basics. So we know that typically most schools tend to have a system online where you can get the application form. Some of them are online based, where you literally fill out, save your progression as you, because nobody fills that out in one day, because you have to gather your documentation. And then when you actually get to, finish, you've uploaded all your documents, filled in everything you need, then you either submit it, some allow you to download it so that you can have a printable copy, as well as being able to post it, because some schools, especially over here in Germany, I know the rest of the world must be like, really? People still do that? But over here, paper is still a thing. So we had to download and literally send the tangible application
Physical
form.
copy.
Right, like in an envelope and everything, like mailed.
I couldn't understand that.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, this is an
like,
application.
what?
I have to send this
Right.
as a post.
Right. So it depends on the requirements, and as usual, all the requirements are on the school's website. So if you are interested in a particular school, don't forget to go to the how to apply section, and there will be a breakdown on what exactly you need to do and the documents that you will need.
Think how to apply for an architectural master degree or any masters in general. If you are, first of all, I totally believe in referring to reach out to your lecturers. I did this. I reached out to my lecturers in my bachelor's. I reached out to the students who were my seniors that you may like. There were some of them you might not like, but you've noticed that they've gone to different universities. If you want to find out other information, obviously you can Google it. I have friends that just Google universities. Google if you have a country in mind before, reach out to the embassy of that country. Ask the embassy within your country, is there any type of opportunities for this type of study for whatever the case is. I think that definitely, those are the kind of things that I did.
Yeah, those are good pointers, but I think first and foremost, don't forget to check the school's website. I think that's where you should begin.
Yeah.
If you are interested in a particular school, go to their website.
But what if they don't know which school? Like, I think if you're applying for your masters, first of all, this is not written in stone, guys, but have like an idea the type of direction you want to go.
Yeah, most definitely.
Because some schools may be great, but they may not have the type of focus that you want to go on.
And that's why research is important, because you know what you're looking for. And I think you can start by looking at school rankings, or you could simply type it into Google, like master's program in whatever country, and and it will come up, you know.
Safari.
And then that's where you start. So research is important. Any search engine, really.
Or MSN.
Any search engine. As well as, I think it's important to remember that each university also sets a time frame to do this application process. So if you are going to do this, research as well as be like cognizant of the fact that you are doing this within a limited time frame. Most universities open between a 2-week to, I think, 2 or 3 months period. That's usually the application time frame. So you have quite a bit of time to do your research, fill out your applications, gather your documents, all of that.
Don't about it, because there will be penalties if you. I sent my application for university the last week.
To be fair,
and that was I had so much anxiety.
To be fair, procrastination is okay if you're not doing architecture. But if you know you have a whole portfolio and all of these things, if you're doing architecture, photography, or any of those things, fashion design, where you know you need to create a portfolio, procrastination will be your death.
Yeah, get all the information, because the same thing that we spoke about earlier, the fact that our university requires you to post your portfolio and your application.
And that takes some time to get there.
The flying time, the transit time, I thought I could just upload this. When I actually read I did not read the full hidden information. I was like, oh my gosh.
So following up, the fourth question is, what do I need to include in my application, obviously when applying for a master degree? So like I said, if you have experience with doing undergrad, then you kind of already know the gist of this. So the basic things, some of the basic things, of course, I'm telling you based on my experience. So don't just take my word as gospel. You still need to research the school that you're interested in, because each school has their own requirements. Some might have special requirements, but the general stuff is what I'm sharing with you. Some may ask for a CV. I've seen that before. A personal statement is a must. They always need a personal statement. Of course, you'll need to include the application forms from the actual website. You would need a portfolio if you're doing any type of creative field like us. We're doing architectural portfolio is an absolute must. They always ask for it. Be open to the fact that you might be called back for an interview depending on the university you're applying to. That's a possibility as well. Is there anything else? Oh, and of course your previous qualifications. So if you, let's say you just finished school and you don't have the actual bachelor degree yet, then you would need your transcripts. But if you've been finished with school and maybe you took a leap year or just been out for a while working, you will need your bachelor as, you know, proof that you finished your undergraduate studies. So those are the things I would say off the bat that you definitely will need.
Don't shy away from letting your portfolio describe who you are. I mean, yes, you would have had work from your bachelor's, or even if you don't have a bachelor's and you have some type of other qualification that is worthy of a bachelor's, show work that, yes, a little bit of work that you've done during your study, but show some of your personal work that has just been you as a creative, and show work that you may have done in a working environment. They want to see the progress. They want to see the growth.
Also, I forgot as well, references. You always are going to need references. So even before starting your actual application forms or application process, have in mind at least 2 persons that you feel you could ask for a reference, because references carry a lot of weight. What your previous lecturers or a previous professor or previous employer has to say about you will definitely impact a decision coupled with your personal statement. So question 5 is, what are some things that I have learned through my first year of master, or what are some things that I just think are great experiences to share?
Okay, definitely. I would say know who you are, know what you want to do. I said previously, it's very good to come knowing what you would like to focus on in your masters. And with that said, you have a bit of curiosity and you have a bit of experience maybe in the topic. So I would say, if you're doing what I learned in my first year so far, because we're in second year, is that some students don't really know what they want to focus on, and they're searching within the university, within themselves, to figure out really what is their niche. And for me, it wasn't as difficult because from the jump I knew what it is I wanted to do. I think that is one of the major things I learned in the university thus far. Know exactly what you want to do. And even if someone tries, like your lecturer tries to encourage you or discourage you, be strong and be steadfast on what you think you want, what you think is moving you the most.
So my lessons, or a lesson that I think is important, came from the fact that we are doing thesis in our master. So with year one, we did just the regular master program, but when you get to year two, first semester is theory based, and then second semester is design based. So having gone through the theory part of the thesis, I've learned that if you are going to do a research topic or any research-based thesis or research proposal, you can't research on topics that you aren't passionate about or topics that you aren't genuinely interested in, because it just becomes pretty much a drag, to say the least. And being passionate about the research topic, it fuels
curiosity. Yeah.
Not just the curiosity, but it fuels you being able to put forth your best design. Because I find, whereas with undergrad, maybe it has something to do with changing schools, because schools are different. But with undergrad, things were very much more rigid. Like, this is how it should be, follow these standards. This is a typical way of doing things. You have to always think about how is this going to be. We design, but then these designs are built in actuality. So that is a huge part of undergrad. And while we don't dispose of that when we come to master, I find that with master, they are a little bit more, they push you, and they being your professors and, you know, persons who are surrounding you in that environment, to be more radical with design, push yourself, imagine greater than your time. You have a lot of professors that they're very futuristic. They want you to imagine things that aren't existing just yet, and they try to tell you, oh, you know, 10 years ago we would never have thought we would have been where we are with technology. So you always want to do something you're fully, I don't know what's the word. I don't want. Yeah, you're enthusiastic about it, because that fuels the design that's gonna come. Of course, I'm speaking from an architectural perspective, because I'm sure not everybody's thesis surrounds design. But whatever the case may be, whatever your I guess field may be, just do something you're passionate about. It makes a world of a difference in the output of your work.
I've met students in my first year who in this final year of their masters now. And as a first year who's excited about university, excited about what the future has, and I was asking some second year students, some thesis students, what are you doing? And they were not excited about their thesis at all. Their whole disposition to tell me about their thesis was like, it's a bit boring, I'm doing it because my lecturer told me to do it. And I was like, this may be your last major scholastic document, you get me? Because after this, for those of you who want to do your PhD, more kudos to you. I'm not sure yet. I don't know. But for me, this is my biggest educational document, and I want to get it done correctly, and I want to get it done efficiently and properly. So, like, be excited about it, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Alright guys, that wraps up our 5 questions for today. I do hope we've helped some of you who are considering moving forward with a master in whatever field you may be considering. I also hope that if you are considering a master in architecture, while we didn't go too in depth, I hope our perspective on what we've experienced so far has helped you in your perusal or research to come to a conclusion on what you would like for your own self. So until next week guys.
Oh, they could also ask questions at the bottom. No? Okay.